What up, YouTube? It's me, Johnny, back here again with another video. Happy New Year to everybody listening today. And I want to discuss in this video a topic that I haven't seen talked about too much, and it's understandable. It's quite something that could be deemed controversial, and it is not my intent in this video to actually say anything disparaging or to be hating and anything like that. I'm actually bringing this up because I am a fan. And lately, we have seen female-led character movies flop in theater like The Marvels and The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, even though technically it was about snow. But follow me on this. While others are getting a heavy rework before release. And I want to actually talk about why these movies have been and are projected to do terrible. I mean, have people truly just turned sexist and won't watch movies with female-led characters anymore? Well, before I actually dive into this topic and discuss if you are enjoying the content you're listening to here, please, for me, like the video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell so that way anytime a new video comes out, you will be alerted. Also, if you want additional content from me regarding a wide range of topics, check out my podcast where that can be found anywhere podcasts are being played by searching for the same name as the YouTube page. But without further ado, let me actually dive back into this. So to touch back on an earlier question, which is, one of the things that we have seen said when female-led movies don't do well in box office is that it's because people are sexist or bigots and are just flat out haters of women. That's why movies like The Marvels, for example, didn't do well. That's what we're told. That's why movies like the live action Snow White that Disney was going to put out and still is, I believe, got pushed back. And even future movies like Madam Web is already projected to bomb when it drops. Now, is it truly because men hate women in power or lead roles? Is that really the reason? I mean, some people say that. Now, some of that could be true. However, I don't think that those things are the overarching reasons why men, heck, even a lot of women, have soured on these movies. I mean, if you actually look back at some of, history when it comes to several female-led movies and franchises, a lot of those movies were actually smash hits and even topped the box office charts when they came out, like the Twilight Saga, for example, with Kristen Stewart, the original Hunger Games movies with Jennifer Lawrence, Underworld, that particular franchise with Kate Beckinsale, Kill Bill with Uma Thurman, the Resident Evil franchise with Mila Jovovich. I always butcher your last name. Hope I got it right that time. Heck, we even saw, recent movies like the Barbie movie do well at the box office. So if we actually have these examples of female-led movies doing so well, why did they do so well, but then these latest movies pretty much have been a big miss? To me, these past movies, I feel anyway, that there was more focus on the characters themselves versus agendas. For example, in most of the movies that I mentioned above, every single one of them had the female protagonist in the movie be more powerful than, let's say, the male villain and, able to swap hands and pretty much, beat them, right? But the story made it seem like it was just a part of the plot. Nothing over the top, nothing screaming that women are better than men. Just a good old-fashioned hero that has to stop the bad guy, and it just so happens that the hero in the movie is a woman. This leads me to my next point, which is most movies, now that are coming out, have very little imagination, and it almost feels like very little effort put into actually telling a good story. Now, this could be said about, a lot of movies nowadays, but the female-led movies, it's no different, and that's not helping at all. Let's look at a past female-led character movie that a lot of hardcore fans don't like, including myself, in episode 789, and the character of Ray Skywalker. I won't even mention how much nonsense was with how she got that name, which wasn't the reason why fans actually don't like the movie and didn't buy into her character at all. For my non-Star Wars loving people who actually might be listening, I'll put it to you like this in case you actually saw 789 and are wondering why are hardcore Star Wars fans not liking the sequel trilogy. In Star Wars, the ability to use the Force takes years, and I do mean years, to master. The literal chosen one, Anakin Skywalker, who this whole universe was written about, took years to actually master certain things like how you use a lightsaber. But in the first movie, Episode 7, she was able to beat a trained since a young age Sith Lord in Kylo Ren. By the way, for anyone, who maybe didn't watch the movie, no, she hadn't got any training up to this point. Just picked up a lightsaber and beat him just for the simple fact that I guess she is a woman and women are just naturally better at things than men are. My point isn't that, yes, there's a clear agenda there that was being pushed, but whether there was no storytelling to actually buy into her character that showed her development. In just about every movie ever made, there's some level of within the story, the main protagonist goes through hard trials and even failures that helps shape them and speaks to the human side of that character, which allows us, the watcher, to actually be able to relate. I mean, we all have gone through struggles and can relate to one another in that way, even if the lived experience by each person isn't the same. In the movie that I mentioned just a second ago in episode 7, this never happened. Heck, it didn't even happen in episode 8 or 9 either, and many of the female-led movies today follow after this same model, and it just flat out doesn't work. People love a good story no matter who is playing it, as long as it feels genuine and authentic, and lately these studios are doing their woman actors a disservice by being lazy and actually not telling those stories. Maybe studios just think that, we the watchers are just so clueless to this happening and that they just, pull out a crappy story and no character building whatsoever, shove it out there, shove out the, hey, they're a woman, hear them roar, and we would just say, yay, women, and call it a day. People more and more today are starting to actually reject this. Not because the lead actors in these movies are women, but because these movies or TV shows just flat out suck. Before I get out of here though, my last point I actually want to make that is a problem with female characters nowadays is, well, some philosophical enemy within is the real enemy instead of the actual villain of the movie. Whether it was in Indiana Jones, Wish, or the Marvels, all of them had this type of ideology in it, and I believe it made the villains in those movies not feel so important, which actually takes away from the film. If beating the villain of the film means very little, then you can't expect the person watching the movie to get that satisfaction feeling at the end as they're exiting the theater. Because it'll be like, well, I mean, that happened. Hopefully in 2024, since again the year just started, future movies, I hope that the studios get back to, making quality female-led movies, because I believe that there are more than enough talented actresses. We just need them to be acting a character instead of playing a role in an agenda. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you all think in the comments, and I look forward to this year. I hope you guys do too. But until the next one, I'll talk to you all later. Take care.